I used to wear a uniform that commanded respect, a uniform that stood for something. Now I wear a thin gown that ties in the back and a pair of non-slip socks. Funny how life works. I'm 90 years old, and I've learned that the most dangerous enemies don't wear foreign colors, and they don't hide in foxholes. They share your last name. They sit at your Thanksgiving table. My name is unimportant now. In this place, I'm just room 12. I led a battalion through fire when I was only 20 years old. I knew how to dig in, how to hold a position against impossible odds, but I didn't know how to defend against my own sons, Daniel and Stephen. You see, I spent my youth leading men into battle, but I couldn't survive my own living room. I'm a captured enemy in my own life, and the men who took me prisoner are my own flesh and blood. It's a strange thing, looking at the medals in that top drawer. They say I'm a hero, but here I'm just a burden that needs professional care. That's what they call it, professional care. I suppose it sounds better than discarded. I'm still here, breathing, existing, but I'm just a ghost sitting in a chair, waiting for a visitor who never comes. I was a soldier first and a father second. I suppose that was my first mistake. After the service, I worked 38 years for the city. I was a union man. I put every drop of sweat and every ounce of discipline into a house on Maple Street. I remember signing those papers in 1959, thinking, this is it. This is the final outpost. This is where we will stand our ground. We raised those boys with a silver whistle and a sense of duty. I taught them that a man's word is his bond, and that family is the ultimate garrison. We saved every cent, $300,000. That wasn't just money to me. It was our retirement, our dignity, the proof that I had protected my perimeter for 50 years. I thought I was teaching them how to be strong, but I suppose I was just teaching them how to take territory. They didn't see a home, they saw equity. They looked at that savings account like a map of a city they were ready to invade. Every morning for 40 years started at 0500. Coffee black, boots polished. I walked them to school, not holding hands, but walking behind them like a rear guard. I wasn't a perfect father. I was tired, always tired. I smelled like engine grease and old tobacco, but I was there. Every dinner, every Sunday, every Christmas morning. I was the foundation they built their lives on. We had a deal, my wife and I. We went without so they could have everything. Brown bag lunches, second-hand coats, the "we can't afford that" talk, until it became a second language. We saved it all for the day the guns went silent. But the boys, They grew up. They got smart. They learned how to use words instead of tools, and how to look for weaknesses in the structures I'd built. They didn't see a father. They saw a landlord who was staying too long in his own house. It started with a tremor, a Tuesday in October. My hands stopped listening to my brain. I was trying to sign a check for the property taxes, just a simple signature, but the pen, it wouldn't stay still. It felt like I was trying to write during an earthquake. Daniel was sitting across from me, watching. He didn't offer to help. He just calculated. I saw it in his eyes then, not pity, but opportunity. A week later, he came back with Stephen. They didn't come for dinner. They came with a stack of papers, white, crisp, lethal. They sat me down at my own kitchen table, the one I'd built with my own hands, the one where they used to do their homework. They told me I'd had a minor event, a small stroke, they said. I suppose they needed a reason to strip me of my rank. "You're getting scammed, Dad," Stephen told me. His voice was so smooth. "People are targeting you. You're losing your edge." It was a lie. I wasn't being scammed by strangers. I was being targeted by the boys I'd taught to protect the perimeter. They pushed a document toward me, power of attorney. They used words like protection and legacy, but I've read enough field reports to know a surrender treaty when I see one. I looked at Daniel, my oldest, and I asked him, "Is this what we're doing now?" He looked at the floor. He chose silence. He let Stephen explain how I couldn't manage the fortress anymore. I realized right then the battle was over. I hadn't lost my mind. I just lost my authority. They weren't saving me. They were seizing the assets. And well, I was just a prisoner of war in a house I'd already paid for with 40 years of my life. They put me in a box and closed the lid while I was still breathing. I'm at Greenfield Acres now, $1,200 a month for a single bed and a window facing a parking lot. Everything I own fits in 3 drawers. I sit here and I think about the small things, the things I never thought I'd miss. I miss the sound of the screen door hitting the frame on a summer evening. I miss the smell of the garage, the way it smelled like sawdust and motor oil. Most of all, I miss the version of myself that existed before my sons decided I was a liability. You see, I spent my whole life making sure they were safe. When Daniel's business failed years ago, I was the one who signed the bridge loan. I didn't tell his wife. I didn't tell Stephen. I just did it because that's what a commander does. You protect your own. I stripped my own retirement to keep his head above water. I didn't ask for a thank you. I didn't ask for a penny back. I thought, family is a blood contract. You don't charge interest on love. And now Now he sits in my house, eating at my table, while I'm in room 12. He hasn't visited in 3 years, not once. I think looking at me reminds him of the surrender he forced, and it's easier to forget your father than to face what you owe him. That's the hard truth of it. I look at the door every time I hear footsteps in the hall, hoping it's him, hoping he's come to say he's sorry, or just to sit with me and admit what he did. But he won't. He was never good at facing things. Stephen, he calls on holidays, short calls. How are you, Dad? I'm fine. Need anything? No. He sends a card with a printed message. He means well, I suppose, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know that his brother and he sold my life for a down payment on a vacation home and a sense of convenience. And the part that eats me alive, the part that stays with me when the lights go out, is that I still love them. I still love those boys. I remember them at 5 and 7, playing in the backyard with a plastic bat under that big oak tree. I remember the way their hair smelled like the sun and grass. And loving someone who betrayed you, well, that is the loneliest feeling in the world. It's a heavy thing to carry at 91. You'd think the body would get lighter as it gets older, but it doesn't. The regret makes you heavy. I regret the tough love I used as a shield. I regret thinking that discipline was more important than a simple "I'm proud of you." I thought I was building soldiers, but I was just building men who didn't know how to be sons. I built a fortress, but I forgot to build a door for them to come back through. Now I'm on the outside, looking in through a window that's too small. I've outlived my purpose, and here I am, still breathing, waiting for a surrender that's never coming. Every day in this room feels like a year. I'm tired, so tired of being the only one who remembers what we used to be. I look at the wall and I see the ghost of the man I was, the man who led men into battle at 20. That man wouldn't recognize the one sitting here now. He would ask, how did we let the perimeter fall? And the answer is simple. I let the enemy inside the gates because I loved them. I'm not telling you this so you'll feel sorry for me. No, I don't need your pity. I've had enough of that in the eyes of the nurses who walk past my door. I'm telling you this because you might still have time. You see, you might be building your own fortress right now. You might be working those double shifts, chasing that next promotion, thinking you're doing it all for them. But let me ask you, are you building a home, or are you just building an inheritance for people who can't wait to collect? Don't make the mistake I did. Don't think that discipline is a substitute for actually being there. Because one day you'll be 90. You'll be sitting in a chair like this one, and you'll realize that the only thing that matters isn't the size of your house. It's how your children look at you when you're no longer useful. Don't wait until you're a captured enemy to realize that pride is a very cold thing to sleep next to. If you have parents, call them. Don't let silence become the language of your family. It's a debt you can never pay back once they're gone. And if you're a father, tell them you're proud of them, just once. Break the chain of command before it breaks you. I wish I had said it more. I wish I had put down the whistle and just held their hands. But I was a soldier, and soldiers aren't supposed to be soft. Well, look where being hard got me. I'm in room 12, and the only person who knows my name is the woman who brings me my pills. Thank you to this channel for giving an old soldier a voice again. If you want to help others like me be heard, you can subscribe. It's free, but it means everything to a man who's been forgotten. The sun is going down now. I see the shadows stretching across that parking lot. Room 12 is getting dark. Well, I suppose I have one mission left. It's the hardest one I've ever faced, harder than any hill I took in the service. My mission is to forgive them. I have to forgive Daniel and Stephen, not for them, but for me. I don't want to leave this world with a clenched fist. I want to go out with my hands open. I spent my life fighting, but I want to spend my last breath at peace. I'm still here, an old soldier on his last watch. The light is fading, but the mind is clear. I wasn't scammed. I wasn't confused. I was just a father who loved his sons more than they loved him. And if I had to do it all over again, even knowing I'd end up here, even knowing they would sell my fortress, I suppose I'd still sign those papers. Because that's what a father does. You stay at your post until the very end. I'm still here. Still breathing, still here. Over and out.